Hi and welcome back to my channel. In today's lesson I show you how to draw a sweet Christmas dog, a little puppy, because so many of you liked the cat, the Christmas kitty. I have thought I'd do also another one about a dog for all dog lovers. It is also a fun and loose and easy lesson. I also will include so fun easy lessons next year in my membership Animal Art Club, my online drawing school and art community. You find here a link to join the waitlist if you would like to be informed when we open the doors again. This will be in January. Okay, so I hope you like drawing this little dog. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more of these videos. And now let's dive in. Okay, let's start drawing a sweet Christmas dog or a little young dog, a puppy. I have thought that is also fun additional to the kitty for all dog lovers. Let's sketch in a dog, so just do it freehand for fun. I start here above and add so here an ear with some strands, some strokes downwards, leftwards, and just sketch in here a bit of an ear. And then here is, I also add so a bit of a hat, so a Christmas hat here above. Let's draw it here so downwards. Then let's make here an ear on the right. Also, so sketch in a shape of an ear. I don't want to draw a specific dog here in this Christmas tutorial, just a sweet little puppy. So it's definitely nice here to do it just so freehand. It is not very, I would say, not very detailed. Let's add here so an ellipse for the snout first, and then we add here hairs and add here some strokes to the right, a bit upwards to the left. Then take a black and sketch in here above the snout some dog eyes. Bringing in here some eyes, make them round, and here a bit of a dog's nose in the middle. We have always on a dog's nose these little nostrils in a comma shape. And then we make it here so just sweet and add some highlights in the eyes and make it more realistic with some hair that is then here so going upwards, also crossing the eyes, adding here some fur on the snout area. We also need fur here below on the chin. Sketch in here so a sweet little puppy. Let's also add here then fur. We will make that all then for sure more detailed. Here I want to correct that eye a little bit. So make the eyes the similar size. Then let's also sketch in, I would say here, so a bit of a scarf. We will make here a red scarf too. A little bit of a woolen scarf. And here we need body. A bit fur here below the scarf. And we need here also the paws coming here, so into the front. Sketch in here the paws, and here also a bit of the body in the background. Let's add here some strands going downwards in a bow, fur strands on the paws. Yes. And let's add then here a knitted pattern on the scarf. Okay. I think that looks nice. All the details, we will refine that then later for sure. Let's refine the face a bit before I start to color it and bring in the layers. Maybe add here also some darks below the head, that we plot in here some shadows where the darker areas are, a bit below the scarf here, between the paws, bringing here the darks. And let's then also draw a background with maybe, so let's say here some branches. Let's bring in here then, sketch in a bit of an evergreen branch. Here a bit, and also let's add here one, I would say, so a bit of an evergreen branch. And let's add then also some red berries. I think that always looks nice on such a Christmas themed drawing. And some berries in the back. We will make them a bit blurry and bring in a bit green in the back. Maybe let's add here so a bit of a blanket where the little dog is sitting on. Okay, also here the head will be red. We can sketch that in. Okay, then let's start drawing the eyes. I love to start drawing the eyes and bring in, always don't forget highlights here. Let's add some brilliant dots with the white, and then take a black and go in with a deep dark black. I draw here a bit around these eyes with the black and plot in here a lot of black around the little eyes, along the eyelids here, bringing in black also a little bit between those overlapping strands of hairs we have. Then I also fill out the eyeballs then with the black, but mix it with a dark blue, so go also in a bit with a dark blue, that we have here nice dark eyes, but I let them so shine a little bit bluish. And then take a paper stamp and blend over it. So blend over the first layers with the paper stamp around the highlight here. Make it smooth. Then go in again with the black. I also like to take a charcoal black It's charcoal from Faber-Castell. Charcoal from Faber-Castell, and then here I go in with the black below here and around the eye, and really darken it down, and add also pupil in the middle of those little eyes, a darker stain and area, and really darken down here the part around the eyes. Swipe over a little bit with the black here in the middle below the highlight. There is always contrast. And add another brilliant white pencil, maybe a Cappucello or the Pitt pastel pencil, and add again here these highlight dots that they are really brilliant and glossy. We could add with the white a bit of a highlight also below on the eyelid area, or let's add here some little dots in the eye corners. Okay, then let's draw the nose. So add here a little bit of blue. Let's take a bit light blue on the upper part here on the nose. Make it a bit brighter. We can mix it a bit with white here too and create so a nice light blue. We also need for sure highlight on top of the nose, and then go in with a very dark deep black here for the nostrils, and then also so downwards here where the mouth part is. Bring it in here so downwards. And on the nose itself, let's take a dark blue and mix it with black. Blot in a bit dark blue here in the middle of the nose, and add black below the highlight. And we have here to draw a bit of a middle line in the middle of the nose. It's a very small nose here. Add a bit darks around. Blend it again with the paper stamp, blend over it, make it here blurry. So mix the layers that it's not gritty. Take also a sharp white then and add some highlights below the nostrils. Bring in some highlights to brighten the upper part. Here up a little bit. I have to go in with the black again and draw the nostrils again here. Darken down the upper part of the nose. And again, you can also add so little dots on the upper part of the nose to add a highlight. And maybe let's take a blue and brighten up the nose here in the middle a little bit. Swipe over with the blue. Correct the nostrils and make them maybe a little bit larger, these nostrils here. Okay. Here below I also add some black lines downwards and a little bit black around the little nose. Let's then take for the upper part of the puppy some brown and golden ochre tones, I would say, in the face that we plot in here. So in lines upwards and here on left side leftwards. And so here a bit on the left side of the eye that we make the fur here golden and brown, and then also here on the part on the right that we go in here with the golden ochre a bit and add then also a bit brown. So take a red brown and go in a bit more here on the edges with a darker brown, or below the eyes here. Add a bit of a darker brown, the same here on the right that we add here a bit of a darker brown. Just bringing here a bit of contrast into the fur with a darker color. And I then also take ivory for the middle part that we go in here with a light, so a lighter beige yellow color, and add here some strands in the middle of the face with a lighter color. Here they can overlap, also one in the middle, and here a curl that is going to the left. Let's also go here in a bit with a lighter color. Here we have some eyebrows that are going here to the left. Okay, and then take a white and go in with white around the nose, so that we add here some strands upwards. Here they can also overlap the eye a bit. Plot in here the white in shorter strokes in on the right side, and also so here below on the chin. Bring in a bit fur structure and do an underpainting here with the white already, so in the direction of the fur. So you always also bring in here some shorter overlapping hairs, or add here a bit of a lighter fur on the left side of the face here. Okay, yes, so close to the nose, and then let's blend this first base layer of the face. So I take the paper stamp and blend here over the golden ochre brown ivory area here above and blend over it. You can mix the layers together here that they are a bit blurry, because we add more layers then afterwards. Blend your base layers well when you're drawing animals, to avoid that your next lines smear and smudge. Here blend over that underpainting. Be careful around the nose. So blend over with the paper stamp and create here so a nice underpainting. You can also blend here over the black and plot it and blend it a bit downwards here and create shadow below the nose here. Also blend a little bit around the nose, that here the parts are darker. Then take a dark brown, so I go in here a bit with a walnut brown of the pits. And then let's bring in some more details or darker shadow areas into our drawing. I add here, so between those little strands, some dark brown, or here near the ears. Here we could also go in with a black, but let's bring in first a bit of a layer of the dark brown. Also below the head here it is darker. Bring in here a bit of the dark brown too, so some dark brown strokes. Add some short, so some a bit thinner lines also here on our left side. I would also add here in the middle some dark brown strokes, bringing a bit shadow, some overlapping lines. It's not so detailed here, this drawing style that I normally do when I draw with a reference photo. This should just be so a fun lesson to create nice Christmas cards or tags, and just do here so a little sweet puppy without the pressure of drawing it so detailed. That is also sometimes really fun. Add then black, really here close to that right ear. Bring in here dark, so that also here below the little hat here it's also dark, and let's also add here shadow below that left ear, and I darken down here the mouth area a little bit. Then take the paper stamp and also blend over the dark brown a bit and over the black here, that it's not gritty. Blend over the black a little bit downwards here. Remove little dots. So also here below the eye, around the eye. Then go over, I take a sharp ivory, and then let's go over with some more hairs in the upper part, in the forehead. Take an ivory, and let's add here some strands, maybe here some smaller overlapping little hair strands, and here so strokes in a bow upwards. Here that part in the middle of the face can be a bit brighter. Brighten that up, and let some strands so overlap here towards the left. Also draw in some layers, the same we would do when it is really realistic. Add here just a bit thicker strokes. For that the Capotellos work really well. Here also add some single overlapping hairs, so take the white to bring in, I like to take a charcoal white to bring in fine thin overlapping hairs too, and add a little bit more fur structure. Let some hairs cross. It's then up to you how detailed you would like to make that fur. I always tend to add more details. Here add some crossing little hairs, then also these little short hairs that are coming here from above the nose, and add here some shorter hairs that are crossing the eyes a bit. Can also add here so some eyebrows. That's here come some hairs that are overlapping the eyes a bit. Stretch a bit over. I also like to take a craft knife and scratch in some strokes. That's a technique you can use to refine your fur structure. You don't have to, but it's nice to remove a bit of pastel pigment and just stretch in some darker strokes. Let's also bring in a bit orange brown or terracotta into that face, or another gold ochre again. You always can then also go in and maybe bring in here a bit color around these clumps in the middle of the face. or add here above a bit more of an orange, brown terracotta color. Maybe here some terracotta strokes. And let's do it also a bit with that golden ochre we have started at the beginning, bringing in some golden ochre strokes here. So also here a bit, bringing in some golden ochre strokes. My cat Shadow is meowing. So, and you can swipe over with very little pressure and color the whole fur with a bit of a golden glance. Maybe let's go also in here a bit and add some shadows in that fur here below. Also on the chin. White fur is never white. That also is the case when you don't just draw this fun little puppy. Bring in different colors also in a white fur. Then let's blend over it a bit here, carefully and gently. Blend a bit and darken down the base layer. I always say, so the rule is to start with the mid-tone, then go in with darker colors, and then layer more lighter colors on top. We can also use here a bit of a gray, so a bit of a gray around the nose. Bring in here some strokes around the nose, maybe also here. Press a little bit more for a bit of a darker gray, and use very little pressure then for here, just scratching in some darker shadow areas in that fur. Maybe draw also in some wavy lines or in some curves. Add some little gray strokes into that fur, also some black ones around the little nose and here below. In the shadow you can also add some black, or we also need then shadow here, that we go in a bit with the black around the little face here and also below the face where the scarf is. Always add their shadow, so we can go in here right away below a bit with the black and add shadow below the chin. There is the scarf. There we have to add a darker color. Here we have then the ears. Blend a bit over the shadows, over the black. You can here so blend into the fur. Always add some strokes into the fur. So, okay, and then go over with a white, a brilliant white, and add white. Highlight hairs and fur strands. I take the Cappucello white. Just have to find it. Yes, and then go over once more with the white. I brighten up these little strands a bit that are going here upwards, and make then so with the white some strokes to the left. Let here some little hairs overlap. Here add the strands so downwards here. They can be shorter. Around the nose, add shorter little strokes. Some are here so overlapping in the mouth. And let some strokes here on the left so come together, create these little strands of fur. and also the same here on the right. Some shorter lines here below. Let them here also so go downwards, rightwards, meet together. And also add some of these strands on the chin here below. Yes, and of course you can take a harder pastel pencil or a charcoal pencil and go in with some fine overlapping hairs then too, just to refine the overall fur. We can also add these final details then also finally. Okay, let's then draw ears. So I go in with a golden ochre and bring in here a bit of an underpainting for the ears. Let's make them golden ochre. Also that one on the right here a bit. Bring in a bit of golden ochre color. I also add a bit red brown on them. And the same here, just bringing a bit red brown on them and dark brown, maybe here in the middle. Make it a bit darker in the middle. And some dark brown strokes on that ear here too. And also go in with a black and add black shadow parts here where the ear is going into the face. There it's always darker. And also here on the right ear, shadows in the middle. When I look so on my little doggy's face, I want to make these hairs a little bit longer here on the right. I just correct it as I see it, that I don't forget that then afterwards. But we always can correct something then finally for sure. Then go in with ivory a bit and add also, I add right away some lighter strokes here too before I blend, just to mix the colors then together directly on the paper. Make here the hair so a bit fluffy. And then go over with the paper stamp and let's blend the ears here. I don't use a lot of pressure, just blend over it here carefully. Blend over the black and over the ochre colors. Also with the shadows here a bit. Blend over the ochres and ivory and create so a light golden underpainting color here. Blend over the shadow. Blend also a little bit over the part of the nose here and make that softer. Yes, and you could then go in again with an ivory color and add a bit more highlights again, or with white. So I sharpen my ivory. I use here the Capputello ivory and just go over again here with some a more crossing lighter strands. I use here a bit more pressure and create some thicker strokes to create these little strands. Blend a bit over it directly with the pencil. The same, let's add here some little overlapping highlight hairs also on the right, also here. We can also go in with a terracotta color and bring in a bit of orange strokes. So here, bring in a bit of an orange brown color. Use the terracotta also for blending. And always also connect the ears with the face. Go in again with the black and add here maybe some shadow lines between the hair strands. Here above I want to let the ear overlap over the head a bit. These hairs are in front of the head. And add with the white some highlights, some light reflections, and refine the fur a bit with little pressure. Add some finer strokes if you would like to. Let's also overlap here these hairs over the ear. I also add with the white here some finer strokes, but we will just refine that then more when we have the background. Okay, add here some little more details. Here some longer strands that are overlapping the ear. Okay, then let's draw next the head. Let's use here the white for that woolen part here on the edge, the lower part of the head. So plot in here the white. You can plot it in so upwards and downwards to create that fur effect. Plot in the white, so we're a little bit moving the pencil upwards and downwards and add so short strokes here. Then take a red and plot in a red underpainting here above where we have the head here. Also going with the darker red here in the middle where it is here, where the shadow is, and here below near the white. Bring in here a dark red or a violet red and also black, so that it's here the shadow, it is here darker. Plot in white on the pom-pom here. And then I also bring in a little bit blue in the shadow area, a dark blue. Plot it in a little bit in circles and also bring in a bit dark blue in the lower part of the head here, that we have here a bit other colors than only grays in the shadow of the white, but also add a bit black to create so a bluish gray. Bring in here also some so black strokes in the shadow area upwards here, that the lower part of the head is darker. Add some black strokes, also some upwards, and then blend that with the paper stamp. So blend first over the white a bit, but we can blend in a bit the blue and the black too, to darken down that first base layer, and also add some so little strokes with the paper stamp to just build a fur structure, a woolen structure here right away, and then add lighter, whiter strokes on top. So you can definitely blend the first base layer here and bring in different colors and darken it down, and you use the pastel pigment you have on the paper stamp to darkening down the first base layer. Here also I blend over a bit in circles on the pom-pom to make it here round and not so with so long of fur strands or wool strands. And then blend also over the red part here of the pom-pom. Blend the first red under painting it, so a Santa's hat here, red part of the hat, I wanted to say, not pom-pom, red part of the hat. It's so a Christmas hat, a Santa hat, so it looks really sweet. And add a bit of a highlight on top with ivory, bringing here so a bit of a shine. And blend that a little bit together with the red. And then let's add some details. Let's then take a little bit of a lighter red, and I start here on the head, bringing in a bit of so fine, I call it also hair, so this woolen look on the Christmas hat. So bringing in some strokes in a lighter color, layering a bit of a lighter color on top, and also go in with a darker color here so that you also bring in a bit of depth into that hat here, into that structure. Add with a dark red, or I have here so a bit of a red that is going into a violet red, and add some little strokes or dots. You can also circle the pencil around a bit and blend here the transitions between black and red. And then I go in again with a yellow or an ivory, so vanilla yellow, and add a bit of reflected little fabric parts here with the yellow, where the light is shining on here. Maybe also a bit with ivory that is a bit lighter, a lighter cream. And add highlights with white. So that we take a white pencil. I have here either take the Pitt or the Capputello, and go in here with the white little strokes. Make them not too long. So short white little strokes here upwards. Let them also a bit overlap, but you can press here a bit more to create here a bit broader strokes. They don't have to be very teeny tiny fine here. Just press a bit more. It's also a nice exercise for practicing what pressure you need for what kind of stroke. Here below we blend that then with a paper stamp to create here these transitions out of the shadow. And you always can also go in with a darker color between those strokes with a gray, for example, and bring in a bit more depth with a darker color. Okay, let's also do it here a bit. So go over the pom-pom in little circles. Add a little bit more depth. Maybe also bring in a little blue. Again, over it with a little pressure and circles. Let's also add some strokes of blue here on the lower part of the hat. Here. And then take a white, here I take a sharp white charcoal and swipe over, so in little circles, and just brighten up this little ball pom-pom here a bit with some circling lines. We can also let some of these woolen parts overlap over the red a bit here, that they some longer kinds of wool or threads overlap that part a bit. Okay, and here some little white strokes. You could also add some more white dots here, for example, to brighten up the part here, or add a bit yellow of a light behind, so that yellow shine. Okay, nice. Let's then work here downwards. Let's draw the scarf. I add here red for the base layer, so take middle red, just sharpen the pencil. So plot in here, let's say I just plot in here the red over the whole area of that scarf and go in with the pattern afterwards. Here I plot it in so downwards. The Capotello is really soft, but for doing the base layer here you are really fast because you have a higher color abrasion here on the paper. You can also just plot it in here on those stripes, or here that you follow here the direction of the knitted scarf here, and then go in a bit with black and add here shadow where we have these overlapping scarf part, and add shadow between those stripes here. This is shadow. And then I also sketch in here some stripes, but these are more the shadow parts on the red stripes here. There are some red higher parts. You can brighten them up with white so that we see them better where they are. Always add here on the left side of the stripes a bit of a highlight. So these are the higher stripes. We could bring in a bit darker red. Here in the middle they are lower, where the shadow is. Bring in a bit darker red here below. And these lighter red stripes, they are a bit higher. They use a lighter red color. We could then add a little bit more black here in the middle part, maybe darken them down, but then also add a bit of red on them, that we see this is the other side of that knitted pattern. Blend a bit over with the paper stamp. We have also a shadow here below, that's good. Blend over it. Maybe take a red, a sharp red, and add some little wavy lines here in these lower areas. It is the back part of the knitted fabric where we see the threads making some little lines. And these parts, they are more they are higher. We could make them a little bit like a half moon. And we can go over also once more with maybe add here too, some little threads. Or just here a bit of an highlight stroke. Okay, here on the right side it's a bit darker, it's a bit more in the shadow. I plot in here a bit more black and blend then over it with the paper stamp. So blend also the black over the red a bit. Darken them down. Blend also into the fur part. Then I take a lighter red and add a bit highlights on top here with a lighter red. We could also add maybe here, so a bit of a knitted structure or some strokes here between. Then take the black again and also bring in, so we have here near the face dark shadow, darken that down here with the black near the face. And then add here, so lines downwards. Let's make here also so a bit of a structure, some stripes. And here, bringing also a bit shadow here below. And important also always around the scarf, between the legs and the scarf here and below we also need shadow. And then blend that, take the paper stamp and blend over it here. Blend over the shadow below the face. And I also blend here a bit, so downwards along the scarf. Here we also have to bring in a bit more black here between those lines. We also here some so single shadow parts between the woolen threads. And blend here over the shadow on the left of the scarf. Blend here also into that scarf area. Here, blend over the black on right. Here we can add a bit more red. So plot in the red directly here downwards. I have let that area free. Maybe also bring that a little bit into the shadow area here, into the shadow. Then go in here with the white and add again here with the white some highlights on the scarf. Vary a bit with pressure, add a bit more pressure for thicker lines and add some smaller lines with little pressure. This is here, so going underneath. Take the red. I go over here also with the red once more if the white is too bright. Or add again red strokes here, so downwards. You can also for sure go in again with black. I bring in here a bit more black, broader black parts in, or add here a bit black. Darken down the upper part that is in the shadow. Add here also dark below. Okay. Maybe we can also add a bit of a dark red on that scarf too. So bringing the colors we have here. And add a bit of that violet dark red. Okay, then let's draw the paws. Let's take for the paws, I take ivory first a bit and go over here, also a bit in fur direction. Here we have a bit fur of the chest. Draw that in, and then here make some very simple paws. Just draw the strokes leftwards, and then here downwards, rightwards. And also here. And add shadow here between. I take the charcoal black. You can also for sure take any other black pastel pencil you have, and bring in here the black also above, below the scarf. Add some black strokes downwards here. Darken down the area below the scarf. And also bring in a bit of a golden ochre, I would say. Here into the fur below the scarf, and here near the shadow. But add also some strokes here in the golden ochre on the paws with the golden ochre to bring in another color. And blend that with a paper stamp. Go over here below the scarf with the paper stamp. Blend over the shadow here below. And blend over the underpainting of the paw. Always blend your base layer. Blend the colors together a bit. Here we have the shadow. Blend it also a little bit upwards into the scarf. The lower part of the scarf is darker. Okay, and then go over with another layer with white and just brighten up the fur on the paws with a white. So I take the white pit and just add some more overlapping fur curls and clumps. They can also cross, so don't draw them just straight downwards. Let some go to the left, some go to the right. Here too on the paw, draw the fur downwards, leftwards. And here then let them overlap over the shadow on the right side. Press more for a bit broader hair strands. Here, draw them also on the left side downwards. And do the same here on the second right paw here. Let the strands overlap here over the shadow. Let them cross a bit. This little doggy has long hair on the paws. Yes, and so create a simple furry paw. We can blend a bit over the parts here below the scarf. In the shadow, the hair always is darker. Blend also a bit over the shadows here below. Okay, and then finally let's draw a bit of a background. I think that's really fun to draw this little dog. Let's start here below. I would like to add here a bit of a red blanket. Maybe plot in here on the left side a bit of a red. Yeah, and here we have all, I want to draw a bit of branches. And here the blanket has a bit of a fold. We can add here black here below a bit. There is again a bit shadow, and then maybe also a dark red or a violet red that is going here, so a bit upwards, bringing in here a bit of a structure into that fabric. I add also here a bit of the darker red behind, and also here in the shadow part, and continue plotting in a bit of the red. This is a little bit so of a, I would say, a pinky red I'm using here for the blanket. Plotting that in here a little bit on the ground here in the foreground, and blend that. You could also use for blending so soft blending tools, or use the paper stamp. For backgrounds I like to use these soft blending tools. Here I have a little bit of black on it, but as there is shadow anywhere anyways below the dog, I just use that a bit black pigment and blend over the floor here. Also here blend over the shadow and blend so in a bow over that roll here of the blanket, over that fold. Blend also here, blend a little bit between the paws, between the hairs of the paws. Blend that nice red background here. Then I go in again with the black and plot in here. The black in again after blending that is sometimes really blurry, and add some black strokes here upwards, leftwards. And blend here with a paper stamp over it again in a smaller area. And add also white on top of that fold here. And add a bit white in, so half bows here downwards. Some smaller strokes too. And let's go here a bit over. Add some highlights here in front of the little doggy with white. Brighten up that blanket here. You can also blend a bit with the finger, or add a bit light red here behind. Make this upper part a bit softer. You can also use other pastel pencils for blending. Here I go in a bit with the black between the paw. Always add also a bit contrast and a bit more black for the shadows. After blending, the black sometimes is dirty, or you have too much lighter pastel pigment in it, so always darken down your shadow areas. Blend a bit over it. Okay, let's then take a brown and draw some branches here. Evergreen branches. I also make here one. And take a green, a dark green, and just draw some dark green strokes upwards, and here also leftwards. Here too, bringing some green little strokes. I also want to draw these little berries. Before I plot in here the red, I add white little dots on the left part, and then plot. Maybe take another red, a more cherry red for that. blot in here red. And I also have here some. There I also draw first the highlight, that this is brilliant white, and blot in a bit red then here on the lower part. And add with green some of the evergreen needles here around, or leaves, however you call them. Bring them in here. Green in the back. So to give that picture a bit of a festive look. Also take black and I add here black really around the berries, here between the green, and go in with black too between the green strokes. I also add here black between the dog scarf and the evergreen branches, bringing also some darks. The same here in the middle, it can be really dark. And then add some dark strokes here along on the brown wooden part too. Add a bit contrast and depth there with the black. Okay, and then blend over it again with the paper stamp. Here you can mix the green together with the black. We do another layer then. Also blend carefully around these little balls. Just make it here smooth by blending over. You blend over the background paper. The background paper disappears, and you have a nice blurry underpainting. Then take the dark green once more. I sharpen it a little bit. So take a dark green and go over once more after blending with some dark green leaves or needles. Also here again. And then go in. I take also the pink, the mint again that I have used in some past drawings. I like that. Here in combination with the dark green, so add some lighter strokes on these little branches here. Let them also cross a bit and overlap. The same here. And here also. Let's draw over the brown once more. They disappear a bit after blending. And draw over them a little bit. And then also add with white some lighter strokes. Just sharpen the white a bit. And add also some highlights here. Again, give these branches a bit more depth by adding another layer of white strokes. Brightening up these highlights again. Brightening up these branches, give them a bit of highlights. Then take a black and darken down the lower area of our little berries. Add a bit shadow. I also add here on the lower part a little bit dark. And maybe go in again with the red a little bit and add another layer of red on the berries or correct their shape. I use the red for blending over the darker part a bit, make them rounder. Okay. Yes, and then finish the background. I think I use here also a bit red, maybe add here a red Christmas ornament and some red dots here and there. They are very blurry, also so berries in the background. And maybe add also here a bit of a Christmas ornament. Add with white some highlights on them. But they can be really a bit blurry, I would say. We blend them then together. Let's add a bit of golden ochre here above. Golden ochre like we have in the dog. Plot in here a bit of golden color too, so golden ochre. Here we have a bit of a fur to draw, so don't forget that, a bit of the body. Here it is a bit of the body of the dog. But we can blend that here. Let's go into the shadow. Add with white here, some little hair strokes. And create some highlights. Go in also with a darker brown a little bit between here, I would say. And with the black. Create a bit of fur structure here too. And take a dark green. I would like to plot in a little bit dark green color here in the background, matching to the evergreen branches. Plotting in here a bit dark green. Also here. Draw it here carefully towards the dog. Bring it a little bit between the hairs on the ear here. Plot it a little bit between the hairs. Bringing in here the dark green and maybe a little bit of a lighter green too. Take here so an olive green. Mix in a bit green. Maybe there are plants in the blurry background. Here I also add a bit of some stains of the lighter green. And here below I bring in a bit of the red. Then blend these layers together. I take here a bit of a cotton swab for blending the background. Blend here the red and the green. We can mix them together, create here transitions. I also blend over the red, over the edges. Blend also over the highlight. Maybe we have to add here another highlight then, but just blend over these little balls too and make them blurry. Don't mix the green too much into the red pool. Blend carefully over it with that cotton swab. Also with these little balls here. Over the ochre. over the green here. I also blend carefully over this Christmas spool here in a round motion. Create here softer transitions between the green and the gold. Yes, and so this little drawing comes more and more together. Let's brighten up the highlights here a little bit. Again with the white. Go over with this spool a little bit. Maybe also add a little bit red once more. Add a bit more red pigment. Here I also add a bit of black at the lower part. Here. Maybe let's add on these berries also a bit black on the lower part, but blend that then afterwards. Go over with a cotton swab and blend over it, make it blurry, also blend over the highlights a bit, over the edges. Blend over the black on the lower side a little bit. It should be blurry in the background. Nothing detailed here. Okay. Yes. Then let's refine the fur around the dog finally. So let some hairs overlap always finally into the background. I take ivory and add here some strokes that are overlapping here over the background. Here we have the ear. And I also let some hairs again overlap here over the ear, or press a bit more if you would like to make some lighter hairs here and there. We can also let some single fine little teeny tiny strokes here where we have the head go into the background, or here some fur. Add some highlights here in the fur. Or here some fine strokes of the paw. Use little pressure for finer little hair lines if you would like to create a bit of a more detailed fur. Also where we have here the fur of the body, let them also overlap. Here I blend the shadow part a little bit. Okay, you can also always use the knife and scratch in here and there a bit of a darker shadow part between, or refine the fur a bit. Stretch over, or use it for the paws, just to stretch in here and there for some shorter single strokes. Okay, maybe I take also the white again, a sharp white charcoal. Maybe swipe over in little circles here where these little pom-pom is. Add here some more. Let some finer hairs here overlap over the head, for example. Scratch in some lighter strokes in the face. Let some single hairs overlap the eye, brighten up the highlights. Yes. So you can take a bit of time, refine that a bit. Adding also on the chin here some more overlapping fine strokes. Okay. Brightening up here the light on that blanket here a bit. Okay, and sign it then finally. I really like that. Maybe add here some little woolen threads. Okay, I hope you also liked drawing this little dog, this little puppy in Christmas style. Yes, I hope you liked it and you enjoyed the drawing tutorial. Great, how did you like that? Write me below in the comments if you liked the lesson, if you would like to see more of these animals in a fun style. I also teach you how to draw realistic animal portraits with pastel pencils in my membership, my online drawing school Animal Art Club. You find here the link to the waitlist. Subscribe and get informed when we open the doors next. It will be soon. Here is another video, and don't forget to subscribe and come back tomorrow for another Advent calendar lesson. Enjoy drawing!